Before online stores, business coaches, websites, and social media, many small businesses started in the most ordinary place imaginable. The kitchen table, not an office, not a storefront, not a warehouse, just a table, a notebook, a phone book, a box of supplies, and someone trying to turn a skill into extra money. For many families, the kitchen table was where bills were sorted, orders were written down, sewing was measured, food was prepared, receipts were counted, flyers were folded, and plans were made after everyone else had gone to sleep. Some of these businesses stayed small. Some helped families survive hard times. Some grew into shops, services, or full-time work. But almost all of them started the same way, with something a person already knew how to do, and someone nearby willing to pay for it. In this video, we're looking at 15 forgotten home businesses people ran from their kitchen table and why some of these old ideas still make sense today. 1. Custom sewing and alterations. One of the most common kitchen table businesses was sewing. A person with a sewing machine, measuring tape, thread, fabric scraps, and patience could turn a corner of the home into a small income source. Before clothing became cheap and disposable, people expected clothes to be repaired, resized, and reused. Dresses needed hemming, pants needed cuffs, buttons fell off, zippers broke, children outgrew clothes. Wedding dresses needed adjustments, work uniforms needed patches. A neighbor who could sew was valuable because clothing was not something people casually threw away. Many sewing businesses began informally. Someone would ask, "Can you fix this?" Then another person would ask. Then a family member would recommend them. Before long, the kitchen table might be covered with fabric, pins, patterns, and small handwritten orders. Today, sewing is still valuable because fewer people know how to do it well. Alterations, vintage repairs, bridal fittings, uniform patches, costume work, and clothing resale prep can all become income. The old lesson is simple. When a useful skill becomes rare, it can become more valuable. 2. Home baking orders. Long before home bakery brands had Instagram pages, bakers built businesses through taste and reputation. They made cakes, pies, cookies, bread, rolls, preserves, holiday desserts, and special occasion foods from home kitchens. The kitchen table became a planning desk, cooling station, packaging area, and order counter. Customers came through church, school, family, neighbors, co-workers, and community events. A person might start by bringing a pie to a gathering. Someone would ask for one, then someone else would order for a birthday. Then the holidays came and the baker suddenly had a list. This type of business worked because food travels by word of mouth. If something tasted good, people remembered. If it showed up at a party, more people asked where it came from. Today, home baking still has potential, although local cottage food laws matter and should always be checked before selling. The modern version might be custom cakes, sourdough, cookies, banana bread, jams, sauces, or seasonal dessert boxes. The old lesson, a kitchen skill can become a business when people want the result badly enough to order it again. 3. Typing services. Before computers were common, typing was a serious skill. A clean typed page looked professional. A handwritten page did not always make the same impression. Students, writers, clubs, churches, small businesses, and professionals often needed letters, reports, manuscripts, forms, invoices, flyers, and resumes typed neatly. Someone with a typewriter could run a small typing business from home. The kitchen table might hold stacks of paper, carbon copies, envelopes, correction fluid, and a typewriter that sounded like work. This business rewarded accuracy, speed, and neatness. Mistakes were harder to fix than they are today. A good typist saved people time and made their documents look respectable. Today, typing services have changed, but the need has not disappeared. People still pay for resume formatting, document cleanup, transcription, proofreading, spreadsheet entry, virtual assistant work, and admin help. The old lesson is that paperwork creates opportunity. When people are overwhelmed by details, someone organized can turn that chaos into income. 4. Bookkeeping for small businesses. Many small business owners were good at their trade, but terrible at their books. A shopkeeper might know how to sell. A contractor might know how to build. A barber might know how to cut hair. But receipts, invoices, bills, accounts, payments, and records could pile up fast. That created an opening for careful people who understood numbers. A home bookkeeper could work from the kitchen table with ledgers, pencils, receipts, envelopes, calculators, and bank statements. They might help a local store, church group, repairman, landlord, club, or family business keep records straight. This was not glamorous work, but it was trusted work. Good bookkeeping helped people know whether they were making money, losing money, or simply guessing. Today, bookkeeping remains valuable, even with software. Many business owners still hate tracking finances. The tools changed, but the problem remained. The old lesson: people will pay for clarity when confusion costs them money. 5. Taking catalog and mail orders. Before online shopping, catalogs brought stores into the home. Families ordered clothes, tools, household goods, toys, seeds, furniture, and gifts through printed catalogs. But catalog selling also created small home businesses. Some people acted as representatives for products. They collected orders from neighbors, passed around catalogs, hosted small gatherings, tracked payments, and delivered items when they arrived. The kitchen table became a sales desk. There might be order forms, product samples, customer names, payment envelopes, and delivery notes spread out beside the family bills. This type of business worked because it combined convenience with trust. People were more willing to buy through someone they knew. Today, direct selling has changed a lot, and some versions should be approached carefully. But the underlying idea still exists in affiliate marketing. Local product sales, group orders, curated shopping, and small e-commerce. The old lesson: people often buy from someone who makes the decision easier and the purchase feels safer. 6. Childcare from home. Before formal daycare was widely available, many families relied on neighbors, relatives, and trusted women in the community to watch children. A home could become a small childcare business. Children might be watched before school, after school, during work hours, or while parents handled errands. The kitchen table might be where snacks were served. Homework was done, coloring books were opened, and payments were quietly placed at the end of the week. This work was built almost entirely on trust. Parents were not only paying for supervision, they were paying for safety, patience, routine, and peace of mind. Today, childcare is more regulated in many areas, and anyone doing it seriously should understand local licensing and safety requirements. But the need itself is still enormous. Parents still need reliable help. After-school care, babysitting, parent helper services, and small licensed home daycares all come from the same old demand. The lesson: trusted care is one of the most valuable services in any community. 7. Meal preparation and boarding meals. Some home businesses were built around feeding people. A household might prepare meals for workers, students, boarders, elderly neighbors, or single people who did not cook for themselves. This could be as simple as selling regular lunches, preparing supper plates, making soup for neighbors, or feeding lodgers at a boarding table. The kitchen table did double duty. It was where food was served, portions were planned, payments were recorded, and tomorrow's ingredients were calculated. This business worked because food is a daily need. People who were busy, tired, working long hours, or living away from family often wanted a dependable meal. Today, meal prep businesses, private dinners, catering, lunch delivery, and cottage food operations all echo this old model. Local food laws matter, but the demand is timeless. The old lesson: convenience becomes valuable when it meets a basic need people have every single day. 8. Taking in ironing. Ironing used to be a much bigger household task than it is now. Shirts, dresses, uniforms, linens, collars, cuffs, napkins, tablecloths, and work clothes all needed pressing. For households with money but little time, paying someone else to iron made sense. A person could take in a basket of clean laundry, press everything neatly, fold it, hang it, and return it ready to wear. The kitchen table or a nearby ironing board became the workstation. This was repetitive work, but it solved a real problem. A clean, pressed shirt mattered for work, school, church, and social life. Today, ironing is less common in some households, but garment care still exists as a service. People pay for ironing, steaming, laundry folding, closet organization, dry cleaning pickup, and clothing prep for events. The old lesson: tasks people consider boring can become income if they are necessary and repeat often. 9. Handmade crafts and seasonal goods. Many kitchen table businesses were built from handmade goods. People made quilts, candles, wreaths, ornaments, knitted items, crocheted blankets, baby clothes, wooden signs, soaps, baskets, and decorations. Some sold at church bazaars, fairs, local shops, school events, holiday markets, or directly to neighbors. Seasonality mattered. Christmas created demand for ornaments and gifts. Weddings created demand for decorations. Babies created demand for blankets and keepsakes. Fall created demand for wreaths and preserves. The kitchen table became a production line. Materials on one side, finished goods on the other, orders written down in a notebook. Today, handmade goods can sell online or locally, but the old rule still applies. A craft becomes a business when it has a clear buyer, a clear occasion, and a reason people want it. The lesson: handmade sells best when it is useful, giftable, seasonal, or emotionally meaningful. 10. Mending and restoring household items. Some home businesses focused not on making new things, but saving old ones. People repaired lampshades, chair cushions, curtains, dolls, baskets, books, linens, small furniture, and household decorations. They glued, patched, stitched, polished, refinished, and restored items that still had value. This kind of work made sense in a time when people owned fewer things and expected them to last. A person who could repair household items could earn money from neighbors who did not want to replace something important. Today, restoration has a different appeal. People restore vintage furniture, heirlooms, antiques, collectibles, old toys, clothing, and home decor. Some do it for sentimental reasons, others do it because restored items can be resold for a profit. The old lesson: repair is valuable when the item is worth more fixed than forgotten. 11. Writing letters, forms, and notices for others. Not everyone was comfortable writing formal letters or filling out paperwork. In some communities, a person with strong writing skills could earn money helping others prepare letters, applications, notices, invitations, speeches, forms, or business correspondence. They might help someone write to a company, apply for work, respond to an official notice, prepare a club announcement, or compose a formal invitation. The kitchen table became a tiny writing office. The customer explained what they needed. The writer turned it into clear words. Today, the modern version includes resume writing, cover letters, email templates, business bios, grant writing, proofreading, editing, and document preparation. The technology changed, but the need remains. Many people know what they want to say but struggle to say it clearly. The old lesson: clear communication is a marketable skill. If you can help people sound organized, professional, or persuasive, you can create value. 12. Selling preserves, jams, and canned goods. Canning and preserving were practical household skills, but they could also become income. People made jams, jellies, pickles, relishes, sauces, canned fruits, vegetables, and preserves. Some sold extras to neighbors, others sold at markets, church events, fairs, or through word of mouth. The work was seasonal. When fruit and vegetables were abundant, families preserved what they could. If they made more than they needed, the surplus could become cash. The kitchen table became a labeling, cooling, and packing station. Today, preserved foods still have appeal because they feel homemade, nostalgic, local, and giftable. Food safety rules and local regulations are important, but the business idea is still alive. Small batch jams, pickles, sauces, and preserves can stand out when they have a clear flavor, story, or local identity. The old lesson: surplus becomes income when it is prepared, packaged, and trusted. 13. Hair cutting and beauty services at home. In many communities, hair and beauty services often happened informally at home. Someone who knew how to cut hair, set curls, braid, style, trim, or do basic beauty work could earn money from neighbors, relatives, and friends. The kitchen porch, or back room, might become a small beauty space. Clients came because it was cheaper, convenient, familiar, or easier than going to a shop. This kind of work was deeply built on reputation. If someone looked good after leaving your house, other people noticed. Today, beauty services are more regulated, and licensing requirements matter, but the demand is still strong. Hair, nails, lashes, makeup, braiding, grooming, and personal care remain local services people pay for again and again. The old lesson: Personal services grow through trust, repeat customers, and visible results. 14. Selling eggs, plants, and garden extras. For households with chickens, gardens, or fruit trees, extra production could become extra income. Eggs, herbs, seedlings, flowers, vegetables, fruit, honey, and cuttings could be sold to neighbors or at small markets. A family did not need a farm to sell something useful. Sometimes a backyard was enough. The kitchen table might hold egg cartons, seed packets, plant labels, jars, coins, and a list of who wanted what next week. This worked because local food and plants had immediate value. People needed them, trusted them, and often preferred buying from someone nearby. Today, backyard income still exists through eggs, microgreens, seedlings, herbs, flowers, compost, honey, and garden starts. Local rules matter, especially for food sales and animals. But the principle is old and practical. The lesson: a small productive space can become income when it creates something people already buy. 15. Running a small neighborhood service desk. Some kitchen table businesses were not one single skill. They were a collection of small services. A reliable person might take messages, arrange rides, collect payments, organize local orders, coordinate repairs, help with forms, watch packages, make calls, schedule appointments, or connect neighbors with someone who could help. Before smartphones and online platforms, local coordination had value. The person who knew everyone, remembered details, and could get things done became useful. Their kitchen table might hold notebooks, phone numbers, calendars, receipts, and little reminders. In a way, they were a human version of an app. Today, this shows up as virtual assistant work, personal concierge services, senior errand help, neighborhood coordination, local admin help, and small business support. The old lesson: organization is a service. If you can reduce confusion, save time, and connect people to solutions, you can create income without needing a physical product. The kitchen table businesses of the past were rarely glamorous. They were practical. They were close to home. They were built around skills, trust, and everyday needs. Sewing, baking, typing, bookkeeping, child care, meal prep, crafts, repairs, preserves, garden extras, small services that helped people nearby. What makes these businesses interesting is not just that they existed before the internet. It is that many of them still make sense today because people still need help. They still need food, care, organization, repairs, paperwork, convenience, and reliable local services. The tools changed. The table might now be a laptop. The notebook might now be a spreadsheet. The flyer might now be a social media post. But the foundation is the same. Find something useful you can do. Offer it to people who need it. Deliver it well. Build trust. Repeat. Sometimes, a business does not begin with a big investment, a perfect plan, or a fancy brand. Sometimes it begins at a kitchen table with one small skill and one person willing to pay for it. If you enjoyed this look at forgotten home businesses, subscribe to the channel for more old-school money stories, practical history, and income lessons from the past. Thanks for watching.